When you're moving forward, you cannot look back. Everything you see is an illusion. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Help when you can. Give when you can. Smile when you can. Cry when you can. Darkness is temporary. A bad mood can't win the light.
Kasiko pesa mokongote munanga ye
Good evening, friends. Thank you and welcome to Drizzles of Joy. My name is Winnie Muhotse. I'm quite excited once again this evening for you to be joining us this evening. And I believe that we're going to have lots of fun. I'm actually excited because today we're having a different session, different conversation. And I think it's very exciting because we're ending August in a beautiful way. We're starting the season in a beautiful way. Tomorrow is spring, and as we start spring, we're starting this season in a spring way. And welcome, welcome. As I said, I am not running this show alone. I'm with my co-host, Sizwe Mahlangu, and I'm quite excited. But before we get Sizwe on, I just want to play us a little clip of one of our guests that is joining us, and then Sizwe will be introducing our guests. Let's get to the show.
The Diary of a Township Queen. Diabazi ababafazi. Bango mama, odado bao, bayigazi. Omnye wabo ngumzala wami uyonela, dimazi personally. Ulele phaya eVaterval Cemetery as the father of her child walks the streets like a free man, unchained, unpunished for the work of his hand. I bet his fingers will forever be printed on her neck. Heck, I bet that part of her body will never decompose. He held on tight till her last breath froze. For many days he hid her under his bed, his nose unbothered by scent, his conscience unaffected by her wandering spirits. Uphi uyonela, uphi uyonela. The Diary of a Township Queen. I know these women. I am them and they are me. These characters are leads in a reality I have seen. These monsters are not new. They have been all around us, from church altars to the shebeen. On township street corners, young girls are beaten to a pulp for everyone to see. People walk by and come not to their defense. And behind closed doors, the generational education will commence. Imvodza engakushayi ayikuthanzi. Him hitting you is an affirmation of his love, kanti awati. Musadi utwara thipa ka bogaleng. Gape ke a ratwa namponeng. Uphi uyonela. Uphi uyonela. The very hands that once caressed her body sucked the life out of her. I knew her very well. Full of life she was. She was a dancer. When she moved, people stopped to stare. When she loved, she lay her heart out bare. She was giving in love. She was fair. Her kids deserved to visit her anywhere but there. Not that lifeless place. Vusani uyonela. Vusani uyonela ndinombuzo. Uma ngabe uke wakubeka isandla before that day, ubuhlaleleni? Why did you stay?
Thank you, Lily. What a beautiful poem. I'm just going to hand over to my co-host, Sizwe Mahlangu. Welcome, Sizwe.
Good evening, Mama. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Feeling great.
It's another Monday. I'm so excited. We've got entertainers in the house. We've got performers. Yeah. We've got really the gifted people. So we're not talking about serious stuff. So we need to be at their wavelength, and God will help us.
Yeah, we're not Leonard friends today. We're not Leonard colleagues.
If our Leonard colleagues are watching today, we're not Leonard. We are all about the mic. We are all about the music and the lyrics and rhymes, as we heard from Lillian Shabalala. Wow, what a powerful poem. And rest in peace to Oyonela, as we are on the last day of August and, acknowledging gender-based violence and all of that stuff. But it mustn't be a month thing. It should be a 365-day thing. So looking forward to tonight's show. Should I go ahead and introduce our guests?
Go ahead and introduce our guests.
All right. Well, the lady who has just done a poem, clearly now she needs no introduction. She comes all the way from the far, far east. Etembisa, Emambisa, Kasigel, Lillian Shabalala. Hello, Lily.
Hello. All the way from Tembisa. 16 dirty, what's good? Okay, sorry, I just needed to get that out.
All right.
Sanbunan. I don't know how you guys do it here at Drizzles of Joy. I'm sorry, I got a little carried away.
No, it's okay. You're fine. We're fine. We're out of our suits and everything today, just to accommodate you artistic people. All right, she's not alone. So we've got another wonderful woman. She has been on the airways for the past few weeks, Radio 2000, and her song is just flying high, called Naledi. I don't know if she's going to do a bit of Naledi for us. She is a Naledi herself. Melo Mtetwa, hello.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Before we go anywhere, can I just snap my fingers for Lily? Wow, girl.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I'm hoping to do a collabo with you.
Okay.
Ooh,
I thought
I like that.
No, Mama, before you like it, before we go far, I knew that would happen. Can you please acknowledge Drizzles of Joy, right?
Yes.
As the one who put you. So finder's fee on both of you, royalties on whatever you're about to do.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, ladies, you've already brought your fire. The show is already on fire. And good evening to all our guests who are watching from wherever you are, Facebook, YouTube. I don't know what other streaming platform we're on, but welcome so much. We've got two extremely gifted women on the show tonight to finish off our Women's Month. I am so looking forward to it. Well, let me hand over to to my co-host just to maybe she wants to say her own hellos, and we're gonna kick off from there.
Hi, ladies. I'm quite excited to be having you. I believe we're going to have lots of fun. But, Melo, I think you're going to sing for us before we end the show. Definitely. Yeah, yeah. I think so. So, ladies, maybe Melo, just introduce yourself quickly, and then we're gonna kick off the show and hand over to Lily as well, just to give us a brief introduction of herself, and then we'll be firing up.
Wow, thank you so much for having me. And Pastor Caesar was talking there about royalties. So I'll sing on one condition, ne?
Yeah.
Faga imali uzobona. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Melo Mtetwa. I am a musician. I'm a singer. I'm a philanthropist. I am a fashionista. I am a lover of God. I'm a lover of food. I'm a lover of music and a lover of life.
Man.
All right, all right.
Wow.
And Lily, how about you?
Thank you so much for your introduction, Melo. It's really hard to come after that. But I'll say my name is Lillian Zandile Shabalala. I'm a theater maker and I'm a script writer and an actress. I studied at the Market Theatre Laboratory and I have performed on international stages. And I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you,
Wow.
ladies. Caesar, over
Sure.
to you.
Wow. My intro. I am Sizo Mashango, and I am like. I mean, how do you introduce yourself after Melo and Lillian like that? I mean, you guys so well polished. Yeah. Ne? Okay. Okay, guys. So there was a common thing that I had a chat to you both about as we're preparing for the show, and you guys gave me fire for not putting your names out properly. So, Mama, we gave them their ID names, but they said to me, no, you can't. At separate, it was so amazing. They said we've got stage names. We're building
Wow.
up brands. Okay,
Okay.
so maybe just to get into it quickly, what's in the name? Okay, I'll start with Lillian and then come to Melo. Just briefly, let's share. Puff and pass.
Okay. So generally, I think the reason why also I was like, Caesar, we need to get that name right is because that is my work name, but also Lillian is my actual name. Uzandile is actually not in my ID, and it's a name
Okay.
that I don't want to lose because that's what I'm called at home, and it is my name, but because of the past and just technicalities, it's not in my ID. So it's a name I carry with me all the time. But Lillian Shabalala is my legal name, but also literally the name I carry throughout. If you Google me, then you'll have to say Lillian Shabalala. If you say Zandile Shabalala, not all my work would come out. So I just wanted to be clear because it's very important, just generally with all the work you do around the world and all the work you are recognized for. When someone Googles your name, then they can realize who you are and what you've done. And it also helps with getting work, especially, as a freelance artist. So name is very, very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tumelo and you.
Absolutely. Just to add on what Lily said, your name as an artist is so important, especially when you're upcoming. Once you're
Okay.
known, it doesn't really matter if they use the full name or the nickname or the stage name or whatever it is, because your name,
Yeah.
your face will just pop up with whichever
Yeah.
name that your fans are using. But when you're up and coming, it's important to use one name that people can identify you with as you're building your brand. For me personally, I have changed names so many times over the years, trying to find myself. I started off as Soul Sister, because I used to have the Dukes, and I was all soulful. And then eventually, after all the name changes, I've settled with Melo Mtetwa. And Melo is just taken from my full name, which is Tumelo, and I think it's stuck also because when people just hear Melo, they automatically connect it to my voice, to my music, and then they'll say, "Oh, her name is
Oh,
Mellow
she's
Pepper.
mellow.
Her sound
And
is mellow," you know.
Okay,
Her voice
okay.
is mellow, so it works well. It's worked well, and I think I'll settle with mellow for now. I think I found it, and yeah. So the name is very important to build the brand and to have people just identify the face and the name and to put it together. For now, for now.
Okay, okay. Mom,
great.
obviously, if you're watching from home, friends and family, wherever you're watching from, we've got two powerhouses in the house. If you don't believe it, they are powerhouses. Just listen in, watch, comment, send them messages of encouragement or whatever. If you heard them somewhere, if they've done some work with you, let us know. Just give us messages of encouragement. Mama, got anything to us, these powerhouses?
Yes. So, ladies, I know you're doing different things, and Melo is a musician, and Lily is she's an actor, and so it's quite exciting because I think we've got a
Mm,
variety here. But from your side, Lily, maybe like you highlighted the fact that you do acting, and if that's the case, how have you found the industry to be on your
mm.
side? And how did you find your feet around, acting, doing this poetry, and the arts industry?
Yeah, yeah. I really always like to refer to myself as a performer because yes, I do poetry and I sing and I do other things as well. And mostly the work that I have been hired for in the theater industry is acting, but plays that have music in them. Growing up, I always wanted to do musical theater, but once I went into school, I realized that, I'm an actress first and apparently a singer second. So I started auditioning for plays that have music in them. And I've done some musicals as well, but it's a whole different ball game. So talking about theater specifically, because I do also like to refer to myself as a theater actress, even though I have done television. I've done Timmy Pusher season 2, I've done some Zanzi Magic, I've done Generations, but I really am a theater actress first. And I always like to say that to people because when you meet people, they're always, and you tell them you're an actress, people are like "Sikubone phi," "U-acte kuphi? I-actress yakuphi?" So I always like to refer to myself as a theater actress because that's what I'm passionate about. And I initially went into theater as a form of just to heal myself, because I'm a
Okay.
writer as well. And I think theater really took me from just like a really young, depressed stage in my life. Once I discovered theater, I discovered healing. And for me,
Mm,
my craft is really about just healing myself and healing the world and being a storyteller and being authentic in it. And it's not really about, the fame, but it does, come with it. And it also helps, when that happens. And I do want to say that for me, how I got into the industry was just to find a form to heal myself first, to speak about my stories first. In the theater industry, we say that you can never tell another person's story before you tell your story. You can never,
okay.
get into character and udlale omunye umuntu when you've never played yourself, when you don't know who
Yeah.
you are. And that's what I experienced as well in drama school. There was actually a class called Theater and Life, and it was actually a therapy class where we needed to break some things down about ourselves and about our lives, And I realized in the class, but very small class, and I realized in the class that, a lot of the common denominator was that we all had daddy issues, whether it was the guys or the girls. And we connected through that and we started working through that. But once we were
Mm,
able to tell our own stories, then we were able to step into character mode and tell other people's stories authentically. So
Wow.
just yeah, that's me just stepping into the theater industry. But it's also a very hard industry to be in, because I've been in the theater industry since I was 14 years old. I started out in community theater. So initially, before I actually went to drama school after matriculating, I started out in community theater and doing the community shows. And then you move on to mainstream after going to school. And once you
All
come
right.
out of school and you go into the mainstream, you would expect that, the industry would be waiting for you with open arms. Yo, Sophie Lili, was a seven. But it's not, it's really, really not like that. You still really have to work hard. Sometimes you still have to do the free gigs, which irks me a little bit, because it's like I've gone to school, I've learned my craft, I know what
Pay
I'm
me.
doing, and you still
Yeah.
want to negotiate with me,
Yeah.
and it's a problem because that's how a lot of artists get into a depressed mode or get really
Ah.
frustrated in the
Mm.
industry. Which I've done all this work, I've gone to school, I've worked with so
Mm.
many people. Even now, I've performed on international stages. I've done Canada, I've done USA, Scotland, I've done so much, London,
Come on.
Denmark last year. So, but you still want me to come home, especially as a woman in the theater industry. I feel like it can be very unfair and frustrating, but it's really about pushing and knowing who you are and what you're about. And sometimes you just need to say no. And that's sad,
Sure.
but sometimes you just really need to say no because it can be very easy to sell your soul in this industry.
Okay.
And if you're not aware, you could easily sell your soul. So honestly, for me, the industry since graduating from drama school in 2011, it's been up and down. And mostly my ups have been the international stages. And I thank God for them because,
I
yes,
want you I want you to hold it there because there's another
yes,
question coming. Hold it there. So we're gonna go to Melo. Melo, you are a musician, and how do you find the industry, and how did you find your passion for being in this industry? And as Sizwe has actually highlighted that we've been seeing you on Radio 2000, you becoming the woman. So maybe tell us about that.
Oh my. So I think, in a lot of ways, Lily and I have a lot in common. And I think we are just artists because, she's got a musical background, she's got poetry, she's got acting as well, which is the same in my story. I also studied drama and I also studied classical music from the age of 6. I did ballet as well, and music just came from my parents. And I started off as rap in high school. So so I was that girl who was with the boys, writing the punchlines and in the little circles in the little corner. And then I moved from that to writing poetry, and as well for myself, poetry was a form of expressing myself. It was a form of healing. I was going through a lot as a teenager, and I found that
Mm.
by writing poems, it was part of my healing process, part of my healing journey. And from there, I moved to writing songs. And it was only after high school and varsity that I also went into a little bit of drama and a little bit of theater. Lily, we've got a lot
oh,
in common. And yeah, and then I started auditioning for adverts. So I did a lot of adverts. I was an extra on a lot of television adverts. The launch of Mzansi Magic, I was like that frontline girl with the afro. The
wow.
afro always stood out for me, so I would always be called to the front by the directors, or that one with the afro and the big teeth, can she come to the front? you know but I always wanted more than that, so I would always leave the agencies because I would be like, no, but guys, I don't want to go for auditions for this. I want a proper role. So I got a few small cameo roles on Mzansi Magic, but so I would describe myself as an actor, as a presenter and as a musician. But of course, my first love is definitely music. That is where I find my happiness, and everything else follows. And the industry for me has been a little bit difficult. It's very male dominated, and I love that it's Women's Month right now. My biggest and greatest dream is that we'd have a lot more women, not in the front line in terms of the faces and the musicians and the singers and all of that, but more behind the scenes. So more female producers, females who own record labels, because females are mostly the artists and the PR managers, you know. But when it comes to production, it's always the males. It's always the males. When I had time and I was in varsity, in my spare time, I would produce. So I was learning to produce, but also it takes a lot of time. I don't know. It's like us women, arna nako, man. It's like we don't, on our hands. And I'm hoping that things will change going forward, guys, because we need females to come in and produce. We need those bangers, and they're like produced by Melom Tetwa, directed by Melom Tetwa. It's just very male dominated in the industry in terms of people in the front line, the decision makers, the record label owners, the A&Rs. Those are the males. So I'm hoping that we can change. And I think for me, that's how the industry has been, just finding a lot of males everywhere. Like it's just males making the decisions, and we are just the artists, and we are not the decision makers. So I'm hoping that right now I'll be able to, I don't know, perhaps even start my own record label, be an independent artist, be an independent female artist, uh, be the executive producer of my own album, and lead the musical direction of my album, and maybe even work more on my piano playing skills, because when I started, it used to be just me, the mic and the piano. So that was how I used to gig. And as time goes on, you feel like now I've grown, I need a band, somebody to play the piano. I just want to stand there, not knowing that it's so powerful when you stand there with your piano and your vocals, when you just want to stand. But also, I guess there's also a lot of pressure when you play an instrument, because hey, those people, they practice. It's time consuming. So I think as well as females, we need to change our mindset, and it should not always just be about being out there. The look, oh my word, my hair needs to look good, my outfit, my makeup, as long as I'm on point, but actually, think about behind the scenes, if I can learn piano a little bit more and be able to stand there with my piano and be able to direct the musicians, that's so powerful. One day I hope to have to perform in a show with a full female band, and
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Big ups to my cousin who's learning to play the drums. She's like, I want to come audition for you. And that would be great to have her on board. And I feel like, we should just change our mindset as females, man. You can be a star, but also be behind the scenes. It's not always just about being in front of the camera to be a star.
Yeah. No, let's hold it up there. Sizwe, do you have a question for the ladies?
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to you guys, and thank you for sharing your stories with us and being so vulnerable with us, and just really being honest about your hustle. So I'm thinking about the get your knee off my neck movement. I can't breathe, and I think when I'm listening to you guys, it seems that for you, you've got like double fences to climb. There's the ethnic one, and there's also the gender one. So is it is this a South African or African, or is it an international thing that it generally feels like women artists have a knee, a knee on their necks, and they really can't breathe. They have to fight that much harder to get noticed. Maybe 1 minute from each of you, Lily, then Melo.
Sure. Yeah. Um, can I start?
Yeah, please start. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's really a hard thing, I guess, to answer in just a minute. But I think,
Yeah.
having
Sorry.
friends
Yeah.
from around the world who are artists as well, and female and Black, I think it is an international problem. Because also, just coming back home for a second and coming back to theater specifically, um, a lot of white female theater makers usually get like an upper hand, or they have like a start, they have some financial support all the time. And I don't know what it has to, I don't know why, but sometimes I do realize with, in South Africa, a lot of them may be getting it from their parents or their circles,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they may be in the right circle. But just, Black theater makers in South Africa, it's been the same story for a long time now. We have a lot of men, like Melo was saying, who are making decisions on behalf of Black theater or women theater festivals. How is a man in charge of a women theater festival during the month of August? And I've felt, just as a theater maker and a Black woman in this country, that if there is no man attached to my thing as a producer or as a director, then it is harder for me to get my work out there. And this is a conversation that actually I had with a couple of my peers a year ago. There's a girl I was co-writing a play with, and we wanted it to be like female based, from the stage manager to the director to the cast. It was an all women play. And it's still hard because there's no man writing the proposal to go to the National Arts Council to say this play should be put on a mainstream stage, or this play should be done because I say so. Then if a man says so, then it happens. But when women write down and they actually can articulate even better than a man what they would like to do, it's still not done. It's still a big problem. It's a huge problem internationally. Yeah.
Sure.
Wow.
Melo.
Okay, so this question, hey, it's hectic
Don't.
because I think it's not just about the arts. It's not just a South African thing. It's not just, like, it's about women in general in the society and their role and their position. And so it starts right from the home and moves into the workplace, moves into the churches, moves into the community, moves into the different careers that we take. So it's something that is rooted in changing the mindset of our entire society. You understand? It's not something that we can just change just like that, because it will start in the home, whereby your own, maybe what dad or brother feels that you need to do this and you can only do this, and your brother needs to be called for this, you must be called as the girl for this. You understand? So it starts in the home already, with the different roles being set. This can be done by a woman, this can only be done by a man or a woman, and I think it's not just a Black thing, because I was listening to a radio station the other day, and there was a colored woman who is well known in South Africa. She is one of the most brilliant actresses, and she herself was complaining that she can't get a role as a colored woman, because the roles are given or are written for Black women. So I think in every ethnic group, everybody is facing challenges.
There's a struggle.
So so there are issues. There's a struggle with your color and then your gender. In every gender, I mean, in every color, I think there is an issue. There is a struggle. There is something that people are complaining about, and I think it's just the time is now for us to rewrite the story. Rewrite the story right now, and teach our children differently, and teach our children better. If your son drops something, don't call your daughter to come clean up after your son.
I agree. I agree.
It seems,
Okay.
it seems like a small thing. It seems
Mm,
like a small thing, but you're
mm,
already teaching him that no, I can't go and fetch the skoroplapa and come and wipe here.
mm,
So in future, my wife as well, if I spill my coffee, she must go get the skoroplap and wipe. It's a small thing, but
mm.
those are the kind of stories that we are showing, and that's the narrative that we are teaching our young boys
Mm.
and girls. You understand?
Yeah,
It seems small. Like,
yeah.
people come and help daddy to wash the car. How? Why can't a
Yeah,
lady help daddy to wash the car? Do you get
exactly.
what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah. No,
So it
I
starts in the
fully
home.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it starts in the home, and we tend to forget that the way we raise our boy children, it actually emanates in the later stages of their lives, and I think you're saying it very well to say that why can't Rorisang wash the car? Why only Toriso can be able to do that? And
Mm.
why can't Toriso clean up his mess? And
Right.
and those kind of things. And I think it's very, very profound, very, very well said. Thank you to our viewers for watching with us this evening. I'm just going to take um, a few messages that our viewers are posting. We've got another one there from Mruti Mukhodzi. He says, "Love these sisters." And then the other one again from Ruti Mukhodzi, he says that word from the ladies. Likutletse, ne? Likutletse. And then we've got another question from Seho Hadebe. She says, "How do balance life and work? Obviously, it seems like you have to work twice as hard to be in men's league." So maybe Melo 1 minute and Lily 1 minute. We've got we need to pack up this thing. I've got a lot
Yeah.
of questions to ask.
Okay.
Wow. You know, I never know how to answer this question because, I work a 9 to 5. I'm also a mother. I'm also a musician. I am also a presenter of a weekly show. I'm doing so many things. I'm also an entrepreneur. I sell wigs and make them. And I never know where I get the time to balance everything. And, I don't know who asked the question. They are absolutely right. We have to work twice as hard because not only are we trying to prove ourselves, but we're trying to be the best at what we do so that it's not like how, yeah, it's because she's a woman that it's not going to be done right. It needs to be fixed up by a man, you know?
Mm.
So I think it's grace. I absolutely always say it's grace.
Amen.
I absolutely would not be able to do it on my own. It's definitely grace. It's absolutely grace. It's absolutely grace because people will be like, don't you get tired? I mean, my dad is always complaining that I've always got so much on my plate. Like, you'll be like, hey, your plate is heavy, man. There's so much going on. And then there's church also. And then you want to go to choir practice rehearsal in between that. And you've got your band rehearsal, and you've got this and that. It's definitely grace that keeps us going. It's the fuel that charges us up, and I can only say it's God. It's by the grace of God, definitely. Not my own
Mm.
Yeah.
strength, not my own doing. But just to add, it does help to write a to-do list. Okay, I've learned writing a to-do list helps you get a lot more done in your day than you actually would have if you were just doing things haphazardly. So if you
Sure.
say every night you write, tomorrow I need to get this done, this done, this done, this done, this done,
Mm,
and actually put your to-do list, you actually find that you get so much done in the personal space, in the workspace, and in the family space as well.
Mm.
wow. Lily,
Very
on your
true.
side?
Just to add on to Mela there, I don't have a 9 to 5. And because I am a freelance artist, I need to have my hands on many pots because I still need to eat at the end of the day. I need to fend for myself. So as well, I do have to run a lot of things, and I have my own small business and a lot of other freelance things that I do on the side besides from acting, you know, when I'm not traveling or when I don't have a full theater show that I need to do. So yes, you do have to work twice as hard to get to where men are. But you know, how I balance my life is that I remind myself that you need to plan ahead, and also you
Okay.
have to take your break, because honestly, if you do not decide to turn your phone off and take that break consciously, you're constantly going to be on the run and you're going to break down mentally. I always refer back to a story of mine where when I was in drama school, they kept saying you need to like push, go to the next audition and then do that, then perform in the morning and then do another show at night. You know, if you've got things going well for you at that time, you need to take all those opportunities. But I always refer back to a story where my dad passed away and I was preparing for a show that was traveling to Cape Town that week. I didn't stop going to work. I was working through and through. And also, I didn't realize how hard my dad's death actually hit me. I actually fell at a rehearsal, and literally my director picked me up and said, you're going to have to choose, because I was doing 2 shows at once. He said, you might have to choose which show you want to do because you're carrying a lot emotionally as well. And then I ended up choosing a show, but also I buried my dad at 8 in the morning, and at 10 a.m. I was on a flight to Cape Town to perform a show. So I think you really need to know when to say it's not here, or actually I would love to do this, but I can't. Right now I need to take care of myself, and
All right.
I can come back to it. You know, but what is yours, and it'll always come back in full force.
And you know, Lillian, as you say that, you know, it's hard, and I'm listening at what you're saying, and something keeps on playing in my mind to say that you find a lot of artists, a lot of musicians falling into drugs. And, you know, like as you said, that at the end of the day, you need to eat, and you're thinking that, you know, I have to do this job, but I've got this burden, you know, and how do you ladies, excuse me, how do you actually, you know, go about making sure that you don't fall into this traps of drugs? Because it's very prevalent in the industry that you find a lot of people that are artists, people that are actors, they fall into drugs because of the pressure that they find themselves in. And not only that, you know, because if you look at it, if it's not the pressure of work, it's the pressure of saying that I need to make it, you know, and you know, you end up and looking at the both of you, you are, you know, young Christian ladies who are still keeping themselves within the grace. But you know, my question is that how long do you think you can be able to sustain that? And you know, how would you be able to do that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Sure. It's really very, very profound that you asked that question, because I think growing up as well in the industry, you know, at first you think you need to be everywhere and do everything so that you can be noticed and people know that you're there. But then you get to a point where you need to decide for yourself that, okay, so just generally as a theater maker, there's something called after work drinks. That's where you get to network. That's where the directors are chilling, and that's where you get to unwind. And everyone has seen the show and they're congratulating you, but also they're talking about the next show that they may be working on, and you could be hired in. And I think for me personally, I found it very hard, you know, because just since I started traveling abroad as well in 2012, I remember one time my director had to say to me, Lillian, after work, don't just split and go to your hotel room, or don't just like disappear. At least have a conversation with people, and you know, let them thank them for, you know, coming to watch you, and then maybe you can go. Because I did have a tendency of just like, you know, I've done my work and I did it well and I'm just gonna leave, you know, I'd like to go get my rest. I am an introverted extrovert. I like to describe myself that way, because yes, I'm in the arts industry, and that means that I love to perform, but I really love my personal space as well. So it's really about really balancing as well for yourself. You would see, okay, how is this going to benefit me? because also leaving immediately after show did not benefit me as an actress, because people don't just want to, offer you drinks or buy you a drink or, give you like a cigarette. They want to have conversations with you, profound conversations about your work, about who you are, about what you believe in. And if you don't let people know who you are, if you don't let them understand where you are in your life, then they won't know. After I show she just leave, and that's what I had to deal with, especially with fellow castmates who would ask me, when I'm working in a group setting or ensemble, why do you always just leave, after a show? Or why every time I sit at a restaurant, you always have something else to do or something else that's planned? And I've had to also ask myself, but how is that coming off, personality wise? Because it seems like, people are thinking you think you're too good. But if I work in an ensemble, people already know who I am. People already know I'm Christian. People already know, oh, Lilian, she needs to do her prayer thing before she goes on stage. Let her be, so people already know that about me. And I needed to understand as well, Wuti, your peers, if they really are for you, they won't try to change you. But it's also very important to see ukuthi niyohlala nabo bani, because I always say, this is really, I don't like to say this anymore, but I always say this, like the devil's industry. I'm sorry, like he's really busy, in this industry. So you need to know, it's not gonna work for me. It's not gonna work for my mental health, my emotional health. I don't need to be here. So I've learned to say, I singing vanilla bafethu sizobonana futhi kusasa, or but it's just being kind about it. It's really just being kind about also saying, Nyabonga, I'll see you guys soon.
Wow.
Sure.
Melo?
So, just to add on to what Lily has said, I think there's two sides to this thing of drug dependency and drug usage in terms of the entertainment industry. So the one part is the networking part after your shows, where everybody now wants to network with you. You're still buzzing from the adrenaline of the performance, whatever it was, whether it was the theater or the singing or the rapping, whatever, that adrenaline rush from being on stage, and you're feeling good and you want to mingle, and and you just want to have a good time with people. There's that one part where you might become addicted to that whole vibe after the performance. To mingle, and you need to take this and that's offered to you. So that's the one part. But then the other part, which I'm so grateful, when I started performing back in Mahikeng, there was a show called Expressions where it happened once a month, and different artists would be given the platform to perform on stage. And that's where I got to perform alongside great names, your HPs, your Marafes, your Tuksingangas. But the director or the organizer of the show said something very important to us as artists. And he said, don't ever take anything before going on stage. So let me tell you something. I don't know if it's the same for pastors, but as an artist, there's this fear and this nerves that hit you before you go on stage. And it's very hectic. And that is also, like, that fear is why a lot of very talented people are not maximizing their gift to the full potential, because they can't overcome those nerves and that fear, right? So you can either say, God, you're going to give me the strength, I'm going to do this, and you face that fear head on and you go on the stage and you do your best, or you can take something to help you, to calm the nerves. And once you take it once, you'll never be able to go on the stage sober again.
Sure.
You'll always need to take something, because the crowd, and you must remember, you're growing. So the audience becomes larger and larger and larger. And before you know it, you're performing at a stadium and there are thousands of people, and you have never performed sober in your life. So how do you stop yourself from taking something? You always need to take something. So that's the second part. And the third part now is taking something to get the creative juices flowing. So this is
Yeah.
not just for artists. I hear it also happens in the corporate space with people who
Yeah.
have to be creative and come up
Creatives.
with adverts and
Yeah.
punchlines and payoff lines for all these campaigns and all of that. And once you start taking something to get the creative juices flowing, what's going to happen? You'll never be able to get the creative juices flowing without being on something. So
Come
I
on.
think, you just have to not start. So I'm
Yeah.
very grateful to that mentor of ours who really encouraged us and really helped us when we started right from the start. I cannot speak for others who maybe have started taking and now want to stop. I can only speak for myself, who has never ever taken anything before going on stage and who has had to take that deep breath, pray in those tongues and sweat
Yeah.
and cry and whatever else, but just go out there, with
Yeah.
nothing but yourself and God. So
Amen.
I'm
It's
super
powerful.
Amen.
grateful for that, and I really hope that for young and upcoming artists and creators, that they never find themselves relying and depending on anything external
Amen.
to either get
Amen.
the creative juices flowing or to use their gift and talent. Listen, if God gave you that gift and talent, man, He gave
And
it
it,
to you fully
mm,
sober. So come on, just use it
Mm.
fully
yeah,
sober.
I
You
like
know,
that.
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
Can
will
I
be
just
Wow.
add on
happy.
to a little bit to what Melo was saying? Just a
Yeah.
little. With the upcoming artists, I just want to say those things will be there. Don't ever think that, they won't be there. You will see the drugs being used. Ngamehlo wakho. You will see insango, spam, net yiso. So you need to go into this knowing who you are, and you really need to pray hard because it's right there. And as much as you want people to respect you and your beliefs and who you are, they expect you to give them the same. Ukuthi, if I believe
Sure.
that this is right for me, then what are you? Then who are you to tell me it's not right for me? You don't come
Wow.
here to judge anyone because
Wow.
once you start getting into those battles, which I really avoid. I always say I try to avoid talking about Christianity in my industry. I talk about it when I'm talking about myself. But this is what I believe in, Nyabong. But I try to not impose it on anyone because they will strip you down nicely and then tell you about themselves as well and what they believe in. So these things will be there. You will see them happening, Amethewako,
Wow.
and it's up to you to decide what you're going to do about that.
Powerful. Powerful.
Wow.
I don't know if you've got a last question, and then we're gonna have a bit of fun before we close this off. Do you want to have a
Yeah,
question
yeah.
for the ladies?
I,
And
I think I think maybe just to kickstart the fun, I just want to ask you a light-hearted question because you guys are just super serious on us, you entertainers. So, do you guys just in a few secs, your celebrity moments? Do you guys had that? You're like, oh, Uncle, look at this tombe now, or autograph or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so for me, so I got into Tempe Pusher season 2 in 2015, and I was one of the main characters on Tempe Pushers. It was like night and day. What had happened was I had written this monologue and booked a stage at theater, and I performed this one woman show. And the director saw me and decided, I want you with Tempe Pusher season 2. So next I was, shooting the
TV.
series, and one moment I was walking down Elon in a festival mall with my sister, and people were basically pointing with the okay G, okay G. And honestly, I'm very I said I'm an introvert extrovert, so it's very hard for me to deal with those moments, and that's why I prefer theater. But at some point, my sister was like, no, but you've seen with down the more people are pointing at you, and I feel like you're being rude by not acknowledging them. But if someone keeps saying to you, "Konje, ngwazelaphi mara?" I can't explain to everyone because maybe umuntu wazela esikoleni, my
Yeah,
first thing would
yeah,
be, did we go to school together? Like, but then that's when I had like the moment of tasting what it is, to be a celebrity, and also just,
Okay.
people expecting certain things from you, people expecting you to automatically stop and take a picture because you're a star, but that's not how we live our lives. But yeah, that's the moment that I had.
Wow.
Wow.
Mello?
Your question reminds me of an interview I saw of Double HP, and he said, he wishes that he would be able to use his gift, his talent, and not be known. But it's impossible because you can't separate the two. To use his gift automatically means that he has to be known. Anyway, so, I haven't had a lot of moments. I think the only moment that really stands out for me is I had an interview on Morning Live this one time, and I performed after the show during the show, sorry, with Stone and Dukes. And after the show, Dukes and I went to one of the malls, and people were like, "Hey, you guys are on Morning Live," and it was just like, wow, And I was really young at the time; it was really exciting. But I think over the years, it's just very humbling when people recognize you, when people recognize the gift that is in you. It's just humbling. To say the least. And the most important thing that I've learned is to never let it get to your head.
Right, right.
To never ever let it get to your head, no matter what platform. I mean, I believe that we're all given different gifts and talents, and we're all given different platforms. The platforms might
Mm,
not be the same. Some might be pulpits, some might be stages, some might be
okay.
radio, television. Some might be just in your workplace, in your family. That's the platform that God has given you to use whatever He has placed in you. And you will sometimes, be celebrated in whatever small space you're in. So the trick is remain humble and let God be the one
Amen.
that picks you up.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to do some last messages from our viewers, and Caesar will be doing something fun with you guys,
All
and then we'll be
right.
closing off the show. Seho again says, plan ahead, have a to-do list, switch off your phone when required, choose what you need to do. What is yours is yours. It will come back, kept by grace. Thank you, ladies. And then the last one is Seho again. Wow, ladies, that's wisdom. May the Lord continue to accelerate you in your work. Excellent. Yes,
Thank you
Caesar,
so
over
much.
to you.
All right. So to our viewers of home, we got something cool just to wind down with. The ladies are just gonna engage in a bit of Q&A between themselves. Guys, are you ready? Do you have your? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe let's start. Let me do the coin course. Okay. Tail or heads, Lily?
Yeah.
Okay, Lily, you start. It was tails. So okay, Lily, you go.
Okay, Melo. Okay, I think you've already answered this, but what is your preferred stage name now that you've decided? Is it Tumelo or Melo?
It's Melo Mtetwa, Melo.
Melo specifically. Okay, so between these two hairstyles, what would you go for between plaited hair or soft dreads? Which one would you choose?
Plaited.
Plaited hair. Okay, what is the preferred stage that you like to perform in between bass line and the lyric theater? I need to
Oh
hear this one.
man. Oh man. Oh, lyric theater. Lyric
Really?
theater.
Yeah, two different energies, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. What is your preferred music, gospel or jazz?
Mara. That's so jazz.
Okay. Okay, between these two performance outfits, which one would you go for between a nice black dress and a bright orange dress?
Orange. Absolutely.
Yeah, I had a
Absolutely.
feeling you'd say that. Okay,
Absolutely.
one last one. If it was a black shiny dress, sparkly, and orange dress. Would you still go for the orange?
Let me tell you, this is what
Yeah.
I've decided. For the red carpet, I'll do black or white. Okay. But for performance, I'll do bright colors. So
Makes sense.
if I'm on, so if I'm on the red carpet, then I'll do black and shiny or white or black and white. But definitely if I'm performing, I've got to stand out and do a bright color. Straight to you, Lily. I understand
Thank
how
you.
it goes. We're pressed on time. So straight into the 5 questions.
Okay.
So my first question for you, I know you've also answered the question, but do you prefer Zandile or Lillian?
Lily Zandi.
Poetry
That's what
or
I call
music?
Poetry.
Poetry or music? Soweto
Poetry.
Theatre or the Apollo?
Apollo, obviously.
Oh, where are my questions? No, my questions have disappeared. Oh my word. Be patient with me. I've lost
No
my
worries.
questions. Denmark or USA?
Denmark.
Afro soul or R&B?
R&B.
And this is one last one for me. Theater or television?
Theater. It's a theater with television money. Yes.
Absolutely, girl. Know your worth. Put a price tag on it. Put a price.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we're
Wow,
not gonna.
guys.
That was beautiful. That was
Beautiful.
ladies.
Thank you, guys.
I think I'm gonna have you guys back soon. I like that.
We have to have them back. We have to
Yes,
have them
but
back.
they're gonna do it yet when we get them back.
Yeah, definitely. You guys are coming back very soon. Okay,
Thank
keep
you
the
so
lines
much
open.
for having us.
So
Thank
so
you, thank
maybe
you.
before we hand over to Mama, who's gonna do the closing, guys. 30 seconds to sell yourself. What are your hashtags? Where are you? Whatnot. Let's go, Lily, then Mello.
Okay, so you can follow my Facebook page. It's Lillian Zandi the Shabalala to follow my work and the work that I'll be doing. Hopefully, when the international gates open, hopefully they're open soon. And also, I have a small business, hand making stuff. So you can follow me on Instagram at Lily Zandi Baskets and Beauty. LILLY ZANDY Baskets and Beauty. And I'll see you there. Thank you.
What about YouTube? You had
I
something
have a
on
YouTube channel. Everything else is Lillian Zandi Le Shabalala. Lillian Zandi Shabalala on every platform. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, everything.
Thank you, Lily. Mello?
So on Instagram, I am official_Melo M. On Facebook, it's Melom Tetwa. You can also follow my YouTube channel, Be Great with Melom Tetwa. We're also on Facebook every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Be Great with Melom Tetwa. On Facebook, we are also Melo Mtetwa. And for the hair, darling, hit me up. It's Buntle Hair Products on Facebook as well as on Instagram.
Wow.
Thank you, ladies. You are amazing.
Sure.
You are really amazing. I'm humbled to have had you this evening. I think we had a blast of a time and looking forward to catching up with you. Buntle Hair, I'm coming, hey?
I'm waiting, darling.
As well. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Caesar.
Wow, what a show. Ooh, what a show.
Beautiful. We really had lots of fun. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We're closing this month in an amazing way. I'm really, really humble. Yeah. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. I'm quite excited. We had a lovely evening. And hey, remember to get yourself a copy of my book called To Be a Pastor's Kid. As we continue to have conversations next week, we'll be having a great conversation again. Please be sure to join us. We're looking forward to having you once again next week. And have a lovely evening. May the good Lord richly bless you. We love you all.
mood can't win the love.